Welcome to Pario magazine, where I chat with individuals who have a desire to create. Today, I'm joined by one of Australia's most underrated wrestlers. He is a former Pro Wrestling League champion, recently defeated Robbie Eagles, and earlier this year completed in his second tour of Japan. Welcome to Pario magazine, One Shot Mitch Ryder.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you having me, man.
My pleasure. We're here today to chat about your journey through the world of pro wrestling so far.
Yeah.
Before we dive into that, do you want to give our audience a little intro as to who Mitch is away from One Shot Mitch Ryder?
Yeah, 100%. I'd be happy to. So, away from who people see in the ring, especially, well, it's becoming a little bit more of the same person as of late, but for a while it was definitely not the same person. Away from the ring, I feel like it's weird saying this, but I feel like I'm like a simple country town kind of guy, which is so different to who I was. I mean, you can see in the background, this is a very country town style house, but I'm actually at my dad's place in Toowoomba right now, which is where I'm from originally. But now I'm a dad. I live in Brizzy, have a little 1-year-old girl, very happy relationship. And I've been painting an Airbnb that we own all week, so vastly different lifestyle to the brother you see in the ring every week, that's for sure.
Yeah, fun. And yeah, like you said, you're kind of transitioning to being more closely aligned to Mitch, the person, as Mitch Ryder, the wrestler.
100%. Yeah, no, the those two are certainly starting to overlap far more than they have in the last 3 or 4 years. That's for sure, which is great. I'm happy because I don't know. I mean, everyone that meets me, I mean, you know Lockie really well. Like Lachlan's always sort of singing my praises that I'm a little bit of a different character compared to the one that's been portrayed in ring. So it's cool to be able to just merge the two together and just be way more of myself.
And like I said in the intro, you've been sort of plying your trade up in Queensland and have, in my opinion, quietly become one of Australia's most underrated performers.
Thanks, man.
What has it been like to sort of be part of that rejuvenation of Queensland wrestling?
It's funny, and I feel like for me, like I probably have a little bit of a different perspective than some. Like in a way, I feel like there's a lot of people, and like we'll quote people like Bobby, for example, and people like that have been really at the forefront, um, like really acknowledging that there's a rejuvenation. Whereas I feel like I've kind of been a little bit in the background. Like I've been here since it was, you know, pretty average.
Mhm.
And but it's sort of I've probably been, and I mean that's a lot to do with the character I've been portraying. But like I've really been quiet about the fact that it's been a rejuvenation. I've kind of just been here. I've just been wrestling since then. But it's been really cool. And one thing that's been awesome to see is just the fact that you can see the culture shift, like especially being a part of the school and stuff like that. Like you can see the culture shift from when I came in and when I was trained, and the dramas that were dealt, you know, at the time compared to now. It's just so much more professional. The culture, in particular, right now, like as of the 18th of June, 2025, like I don't think the culture in terms of the school and the new people coming up, I don't think it's been as good as it has been right this second. It's awesome.
Yeah, it seems like it's very sort of like a family. Almost everybody's
Yeah,
pushing Pro
yeah, like
Wrestling League, Three Count Academy
One
better.
hundred percent. Like right now in particular, like we've just had. I think the new trainees are at maybe like week 6 or 7 of their first intake, and it's easily the biggest one we've got. And we're talking like 18, maybe 19 new rookies coming through, and they're all there and they're all showing up. And the cool thing is like they're all showing up for each other every week, which is rad. And it's something that I don't think. And it's kind of I kind of touched on it with what I just said before, but like they're all showing up for each other. Whereas beforehand and up until now, I mean, wrestling's always going to be very selfish and very like self-driven as an industry, as a sport. But I certainly noticed that for myself. Like I was very singular focused up until, you know, recently. I really had my own goals, and no one else kind of had those same aspirations, I don't think. And so now everyone's kind of showing up for each other, and it's just such a cool culture to be a part of, and it's infectious. Like it makes me want to be there and be a part of it more than I already am. You know?
And sort of these days, Pro Wrestling League is now right up there with the likes of PWA, MCW, RCW, and EPW all around the country.
Yeah.
How special is it to have been a part of some sort of major shows, particularly like the Australian Wrestling Super Show?
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's not lost on me that it's definitely due to the fact that obviously our quality's gotten a lot better for sure. But I think that podcasts like this one and podcasts like Wrestle Radio Australia and people like yourselves are actually plugging it. I think that certainly helps create the groundswell of it. Obviously, the quality has improved immensely, which is great, but the quality across the board too, like production wise, talent in ring, just the whole show, like everything, even to the point where now we have like quality photography and behind the scenes kind of shots and stuff like that, which is so cool, and it helps everyone's content grow so much better. But yeah, like I mean, to be in the position that to speak from where I was at for when it came to the Australian Pro Wrestling Super Show, like to be in that spot, it's one of those moments where you think back to 17, 18-year-old Mitch. It's just like who was watching Robbie Eagles, for example, on Instagram and seeing what he was doing in the infancy of PWA and stuff like that. Like to then be in a position where you can kind of headline a show called the Australian Pro Wrestling Super Show with someone like that alongside Zeke, like to be in that spot from my own personal experience was just surreal. And to have Queensland kind of showcase that was really special and something that I don't think people would have thought would be the case 2 years ago.
And in that match, Robbie came out on top, but then you got a bit of a revenge a couple of months later when you went one-on-one at the Cyber Night. How
Yeah,
special was that series of matches?
that was the third in a series of matches that I've had with Robbie, and we had a tag, we had the triple threat, and then to have the singles, and then to be the victor at the end of the singles. Um, yeah, it definitely not lost on me how special to get that result. It really is, but also like just I don't know, like it's very surreal. Like it was one of those things where I came backstage and Todd and I had a little moment. Well, actually, we had a little moment in the ring where we were just like, we can't believe this just happened. Like this doesn't get to happen too often, and the fact that we just did it up here at home in a match that we were both really proud of, like it was very special.
Did you know that match was as good as it was in the moment?
Nah, and to be fair, like, and I think I'll always say this, like, I hate watching my own stuff back because I feel like in my head, at the end of the match, I was like, well, that was pretty good. But it's tricky because it was at the end of a long show with a rumble and an I Quit match, and like there's just so much happening in that match. Oh, sorry, in that show that you get to the end, and you're like, man, I thought the fans would be here for this or for this or whatever, and so watching it back, there was always things that I'm going to pick apart and stuff like that, but I appreciate the praise from even you saying that just then and from other people after that match. Like I had some people say some really really ridiculous things to me after that match that were just so complimentary, and to hear stuff like that, like it was the first time where I've ever been in a situation where I realized as you grow up as a wrestling fan, obviously you have your favorite matches and you have your favorites, and it was kind of the first time where I'd ever had the spotlight shine on me where I realized that wow, like maybe I'm someone's favorite wrestler, and like maybe I just had someone's favorite match, and like that is still surreal to even think about to make someone feel like that. But it's very very cool to hear that sort of those the sort of praise that I got that we got.
That sort of plays into you sort of transitioning into being a fan favorite at Pro Wrestling League alongside Todd,
Yeah,
who has been with you the longest, and it's kind of his first time being a good guy in quite a while.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How has that relationship come about, and how has that transition been going along with him?
It's been funny. Like we just had our first like coming out party almost as fan favorites, and Todd. I know he was like he feels very comfortable being in that heel persona and being the person he's been playing for the last 12, 14 years. And so before we went out, we were like, are they going to say anything? Like, are they going to be into it? Are they going to boo Todd? Are they going to cheer me? Are they going to cheer Todd? Are they going to boo me? Like, it was such an unknown. And then to get some of the reactions that Todd got of the fans, like they were chanting his name, like just stuff like that. Where I kind of looked at him, I was having a great time listening to them put him over. It was so fun, and it's just funny because it's not at all, I think, where we expected we'd end up, but I think we'd both it'd be fair to say we're both having a pretty good time with it, which is not at all where I think if you told Todd 6 months ago, those are the sort of reactions he'd be getting. He'd be like, "No, I don't want that." But I think he enjoys it deep down, as do I.
And how important has Todd sort of been to your development as a performer?
Yeah, I've said it a couple of times, and I mean he certainly knows this. But like before he came along, I was essentially wrestling in like a shed in someone's backyard. Like and you know everyone starts somewhere, and I've got some great mates from that time. But in that moment, like in that time, there was no way that this was ever going to be anything more than that. Like I just couldn't see the bigger picture. I was like, well, I'm literally wrestling once a month in someone's like backyard, essentially. Like that, this is as good as
Mm.
I knew I could probably get better, but like at the time, there was just no pathway. I just didn't see a light for it. And then he kind of came out of the woodwork, hit me up one day and was like, "Hey, do you want to be in this Rumble?" And then from the Rumble, he paired me with in a tag team, and we ended up cleaning up when it came to the tag team titles for pretty much all the promotions locally. And then COVID happened, and it was just Todd and I that basically returned from that. And yeah, he really was the one that kind of started it all properly for me. Like I obviously was wrestling before that, but he was the one that kind of opened up some real true pathways to then sort of really kick things off. And I don't think if you know, like I feel like I would have had a lot of wasted potential if he didn't do that. Like I would have just been a bit of a weekend warrior and not ever seen through what I really could have done and to get to this point. So yeah, I pretty much owe him everything, like from that aspect, 100%. And so to be able to continue on the ride with him from where we were to now being, you know, part of the favored side of the fans, like it's just sick. It's so cool. And I've said it before, like I will work with Todd as long as he wants to keep being in the business. Like I don't think we'll ever part ways. There won't be a tribal chief and a wise man split here, I don't think.
That's good to hear. Once sort of Todd cracked that door open for you, you have gone and kicked it down and really branched out, heading over to Japan twice now. How big a moment for you was it to head back there? Obviously, the first time was a big moment,
For
but to
sure.
get asked to come back a second time, I imagine that was also a special thing.
It was really special, and the thing about the second time around, the first time was awesome, of course, and but there's a little bit of an unknown there, right? And I think with the first time, like the first time probably went better than I expected because I guess my expectations were kind of like what they were. Like I didn't know what to expect. Whereas going back the second time, I obviously had pretty lofty expectations, but then also I had the added effect of like now I'm a dad. Like I didn't know if this was going to happen again, and how I would even make it happen if it did, right? And so to be able to go back the second time and then for the second time to be even better than the first and I feel like have better matches. Like I feel like what was really tricky in between the trips. So the first trip was in May 2023. Second trip was April May 2025. Right, so 2 years essentially to the day. And the thing that was tough for me was I felt like as a performer, as a wrestler, from everything from gear to in ring to how I present to just how I look, like I just felt like everything was just so much better than when I went the first time. But life just was so much different, like being a dad and just having different responsibilities. So it sucked because I really felt like maybe I won't get to present this version of me that I'm really excited to present to the world. I didn't know if that was going to be an option. And so to get back there and to really kick the door open when I got there again and just make great connections and have some of what I feel like probably my best matches is really, really special.
Especially because, yeah, like that first time you're coming over is a bit of a novelty, like, oh,
Yeah.
we've got the Australian guy on the show.
The Aussie battler just having a crack.
Yeah, the second time it's like, oh, we know this guy now. We expect a little bit more from him. And obviously that led to a main event for the Ricky Fuji Certified Aggressive World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, nice. You did well to get all that out. I'm surprised you were even able to translate that. I wasn't.
How was that experience to main event a show in Japan?
Yeah, it was. That was see. That was this. That was one of two that I actually got to do, which was so cool. Like just like a true honor, especially when you see the talent that are in these locker rooms. And so to 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 then see that the office are like, yeah, we want you to go on last. Like we want you to be that guy. ahead of all of the guys that everyone knows already. They're over with the fans. Like all that's like that in itself is an honor. But then to go out and then do it and to learn a different style of Japanese wrestling in the moment, right? Like because to do an opener in Japan or a tag, like tags are so popular over there. And so to do a tag and then to go from that to doing like a main event singles style, like it's just really different. They expect more from you. They expect a different, they just expect a different style at the end of the day. And so to do that, and then thankfully to be able to deliver to a certain degree, and then also the other thing that's really cool is basically whenever you're in the main, and if you win the main in Japan, it's pretty much expected of you that you have to grab the mic and do a promo.
Yeah, you walk after.
And so the second time I was fortunate enough to get the win, and I grabbed the mic, and in my head beforehand I was like I was wrestling a young guy, and he's really really good, and I could tell he was really good before I wrestled him, but he was really good, and he looks good, and he's only young, like he's 22. He's really going to be the future, right? And I was like, in my head, I was like, what can I learn really quickly in Japanese that I can put this guy over and just put him over on the mic and whatever. And I just was like, I figured out how to say you're the future or you're the star or something like that. You're a star, something like that. Anyway, I was like real confident, just had a fun match, like a good match, and grabbed the mic and tried to put Shota over. The crowd crickets. I clearly did not say the right thing. Like it was like clearly the wrong. I butchered it. And I just had all these people just staring back at me really politely, and I was like, "Ooh, that's awkward." So yeah, completely bombed on the promo after. But yeah, I mean, I just love wrestling in Japan, and to be put in those positions over there twice, and to be able to learn the style the first time, and then try and put it together the next time, and do it with someone else, and to get the reactions from the audience that we wanted. I really can't ask for more than that on this second time around.
And how have those sort of trips to Japan helped you improve as a wrestler and bring those improvements back to Australia?
For sure. I mean, it certainly helped me improve my confidence. I definitely feel like going over there, and because you just have so many things to overcome when you're there, like the language barrier, like trying to communicate with other wrestlers is so much harder than if you and I were going to have a match, right? Like it's just so much more difficult to even get that side of thing across. But then the style's different. But fortunately for me, I feel like the style and my style are quite complementary.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know, it's just a confidence thing for me. Like coming back, I'm like, wow, like I was just able to do this over there in a country where the odds are kind of stacked against you a little bit. So you come back with confidence, but then also like every single time I've gone, I've always learned a lot of new, just technical side of wrestling stuff. It gives me more of the ability to kind of just be my own self and be my own style, and to bring that then back here, because I've tried it over there and I'm like, well, it crushed over here. Surely I can bring it back here and it'll work just as well. So yeah, confidence, just skill level in general, and yeah, the ability to just, I don't know, just give stuff a crack that I might not have tried before.
Yeah, I guess if you go over there, make an impression on people that really have no idea who you are apart from, "Oh,
Exactly.
he's on a poster."
Yeah.
And then you come back here and you go, "At least these guys know who I am. They've seen me
Yeah.
for a few years. I can try stuff and they're gonna be a little bit more accepting of it."
Exactly. Like, and the biggest thing is like over there, they just have such an appreciation for pro wrestling. Like it's just in their culture. Like they have such an appreciation for the finer details. Like you can almost be so much more intentional about certain things that you do in the matches, and things that might go over the head of a casual audience. They're just like, oh my god, he just did that for us. Like it's just the appreciation of it is something that I absolutely love, and so yeah, to be able to get good reactions out of a crowd like that just appreciate the art of the pro wrestling, can't beat it.
And would you sort of recommend other wrestlers in Queensland or around Australia to sort of try to get over to Japan or even elsewhere in the world just to get that experience of a different audience, different crowds, different
100%.
styles?
There's nothing I enjoy more than wrestling overseas, and like obviously I love wrestling in Japan, but wrestling even in a country like Vietnam, where the scene is growing and growing and growing, and the fan base is so new to pro wrestling. But like wrestling in a place like that that's also awesome, because you're getting brand new eyes to wrestling, let alone like obviously to you. But yeah, going to a place like that and you realize that they've only seen wrestling for like the last 6 months. They didn't even know what it was before then. So it's like wrestling in front of a crowd like that, and you kind of know what sort of reactions certain things might do, and it kind of builds confidence that way. And I think having the option and having the ability to wrestle overseas has been so beneficial to me. It's been more beneficial than any like this sounds terrible, but like it's been more beneficial just doing that and experiencing that than any one seminar or any one match that I've been able to have, just because you just learn so much by being out there and being away from everything else, like everything else that you're used to all the time. Like it's something I encourage, like when some of our trainees get to a certain level and they really want to take wrestling seriously, it's one of the first things I encourage them to do is like, hey, get out and learn, because and get out and learn across the country, of course. But if they have the option to go to the States or Canada or Japan, if the option did come up, like there's nothing more beneficial than just taking yourselves out of your comfort zone and going and doing it. And you'll grow exponentially as a human, but as a pro wrestler as well, for sure.
Yeah, because if you're wrestling in the same place with the same fans all the time,
Yeah.
you could easily fall into that trap of, I know this works, I'll just do this.
And you see that so often. And on top of that too, like the negatives that come with that too, like a lot of the time, and it's in every single scene, but and they're all getting better, but like in every single scene, there's always the one jaded person that's never got out, they never did anything else, and they kind of bring everyone else down. Whereas if everyone's getting out and everyone's learning new things, wrestling in front of different audiences, in front of different cultures, in front of different countries, like that mindset goes away really quickly. And the other thing that I think people would be really surprised about is, or other workers would be really surprised about, is just how good we are in Australia. Like you can go to a place, places where people think that the pro wrestling level is really high, and it is, but so is Australia. And from 90% of the Aussies that you see go abroad, we all fit in pretty quickly because we can all hang with a lot of these people, which is unreal. Like it's sick, but you don't know that until you do it. Like you don't know that until you get out there, and it's scary, but so important for growth, just as a person.
And in terms of being someone that has been to Japan a couple of times now, Vietnam, sort of in that Southeast Asia region, are there any sort of tips that you have for people looking to branch out in that region?
I feel like Japan's a little bit harder because it's one of those places where you kind of have to have someone there to help you get over there, and I don't want to say invite, but kind of invite you to come over, and because otherwise,
Yeah, it's pretty saturated in terms of people wanting to wrestle in Japan as well.
100%, and then because of that saturation, you kind of, if you're just inboxing people, if you're just in DMing someone, like you kind of just another name in the DM, right? So the network side of things when it comes to Japan is imperative, but I know, like going to the States, you can kind of, you kind of just have to, it's a volume thing, right? Like you got to reach out to 100 promotions, maybe just to get one booking. But then when you get one booking, you go backstage with 25 other wrestlers that all
Mhm.
wrestle everywhere else every other weekend. And then as soon as you get one, it snowballs. And that's been what I found. Like obviously in a country like Vietnam, there's one company, so it doesn't happen there. But like even like when I was in South America, like you go to one place and all of a sudden, because that's a country that's close to other countries, like there's people there from, if you're in Peru, there's people there from Ecuador or Chile, and you can pretty quickly like rack up some bookings if you perform. So that's the biggest thing, is like if you get on one, network as hard as you can while you're at that one behind the scenes, and just be a good brother or a good sister, and that goes a long way with a lot of people.
Yeah, if you're a nice person, you'll probably get
Hundred
opportunities.
percent, 100%. Nice to everyone too. Like you got to be nice to everyone, from the ring announcer to the people setting up the ring, and everybody goes a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
way.
If you're a bit of a dickhead, you're probably not going to get booked
You're not
anyway.
going to go anywhere.
And then if we look ahead to the future and the rest of 2025, what are some of the main goals for Mitch Ryder this year?
Yeah, for sure. One thing that hasn't, I don't think, well, I haven't announced it. I'll just announce it here. I'm back to Japan, which is cool. So I'll be back there in sort of late September, early October, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I didn't think I'd be able to go back so quickly, but things have just kind of lined up nicely. So I'll be back there, yeah, early October. That's really been the big focus for me. We've got a lot of deep story stuff going on at Pro Wrestling League locally, which I'm excited to sort of see through and really, I don't know, it's probably one of the very first long stories that I've been involved in. So it's exciting to sink my teeth into that and keep moving forward there. But really, I just want to wrestle as much as possible between now and October, and then sort of see out the rest of the year. One thing I've noticed is some of the biggest matches or moments or even like the biggest year, I still credit 2023 as being my biggest year in pro wrestling. And I didn't plan for it to end up like that. Like it kind of just one thing happened that then snowballed into the other and the other and the other. And like, I think that's the beauty of it, really. Like, you obviously got to set goals, and the goal was to get to Japan this year. The goal was then to get back. Those things are kind of already happening. So it's like now the goals are just little goals within those goals. You know what I mean? So yeah, and the beauty of wrestling in particular is, especially in Australia, I feel like things just kind of pop up like out of nowhere. Like they're just stuff that, all of a sudden you check your email and it's like, there it is. It's like great. Um, and yeah, if you say yes to everything, provided that it's within your bounds or within your ability to do so, then you'd be amazed at what pops up. That's kind of
Yep.
what I'm doing.
When you were in Japan last time, we saw you at Korakuen Hall watching the best
You
of Super
spotted me there.
Juniors.
You spotted me there. Yeah,
Is that sort of a motivation to if sitting in there watching the best of the best in the junior division wrestle in Korakuen? Is that like this
yeah,
is the next place I want to wrestle?
yeah. Biggest. Probably my biggest goal. I guess if you look at goals, sort of like short term, long term, super long term, whatever. One of my probably biggest goals in the short to long term is to wrestle at Croken Hall. Like that's the biggest thing I'm really chasing. A couple of my mates have done it. Obviously, people like Robbie Eagles do it often,
Mhm.
but it doesn't take away from the fact that it is a really sacred place to perform, and that's something that's so big on the bucket list, and something that I'm sort of working really hard to do potentially in October. So it hasn't fully come to fruition, but that it looks like that could be a thing. But yeah, the two big goals really are to wrestle in a prestigious junior tournament. So whether that's New Japan, All Japan, BJW has one. That's a big one, to wrestle in a prestigious Japanese junior tournament and to wrestle at Korakuen Hall. They're the two big goals.
And then there's a big Australian tournament as well, PWA's Coliseum, which myself, Todd, Lachlan, Jeff have all pushed. But why is Mitch not in this tournament? So hopefully that's
I appreciate that. Yeah,
in the future
well,
as well.
look, if it lined up, I would certainly love to get back to PWA and really show out and on a big platform like that. Like I did the Conquest tournament for Wrestle Rampage last year, and I just love a good tourney, like good little tournament, get in, get out, see how far you can go. So yeah, to be able to do both of those would be sick. Yeah, I love a tournament. Any opportunity to wrestle more than once in a show. The gas tank might hate me for it, but mentally, I get it right around it.
I know, I feel like you've got a pretty good gas tank from some of
It's
the
better
matches.
than the last tournament I was in, that's for sure.
Alrighty, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank
Where
you.
is the best place for people to support you and track the wrestling journey moving forward?
Yeah, 100%. Best place to find me is on the socials. So Twitter or X is One Shot Rider, ONESHOT Rider, RYDER. And Instagram's the exact same. Thankfully, both those handles were available when I wanted them. So that's where you find me. But yeah, they're the two best ones to get around
Yep.
me. I'm posting a lot more life, I reckon, as of late, and I'll continue to do so that I wasn't doing before because I was trying to hide it a little bit. But now it's all out there in the
Mhm.
open. So, and I'm excited to share. It's cool. It'll play into a lot of stuff, and people will get a good. Some of my favorite wrestlers are the ones that I know what's going on. I know them as people, right? And that's who they are when it comes to the show. So I kind of want to show more people that as well.
Brilliant. Right. Yeah, and we'll keep an eye out on Pro Wrestling League on YouTube and obviously Japan later this year.
For sure.
Thank you very much and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, man. You too.